So I admit.
The Beena's being just sharing philosophical stuff here. All right, Beena, this is very important. Donna, if you don't mind, unless there's something pressing from you. If not, then we can put Beena on hold.
Oh no.
No. Okay, then Beena, please recap for Donna from
Okay.
going to the market, the whole story, please.
Okay. Okay. Just a minute.
Hmm. Hmm. Hello, Donna. Hello, hello. Glad to see you back here, Donna. Oh, so glad, so glad, so glad. All right,
Yeah.
I got one more. I got one
Just
more
had.
sentence to do real quick. Just one pause. It's 2 sentences. So, and I'm finished with this module. So, all right, just give me
Please.
1 second here. All right, here we go. Recording. End module 2. Do you feel diplomatic? How? That's it. All right, keep going, Veena. Share what happened today.
I do. I feel diplomatic. I
Yes, you felt it yesterday. Ah, ah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right, share your whole story from going to the market this morning and everything.
Okay. So Donna, I had some few things to be done, like dyeing my scarf, buying the fabric for the scarf, and give it to dyer to dye it in a specific color because it was needed. And Mama also had some. She says, "Okay, Beena, buy some laces for the dress and all these things." Anyway, so this was the work, and I do enjoy it there because colors, that market is full of colors, and the dyeing process, I just love that. I just love being there because the dyer, and they know me. So they said, "Come on, Beena, here you come again with the very specific requirements, and you will keep. They have to do that 2 3 times for me, and but they all love me, and I love this place anyway because also they are dozens of shops of glass bangles also. So you can imagine, you can understand how I love this
Feeling
place.
Venus addiction.
Yeah, and it's a very colorful place, and I love. But it's a very humble kind of a market, but always busy, always full of people, full of women mostly. So when I went there, the market was unusually kind of empty. Very
Oh,
few customers, very few, almost none. Um, I got my things and I got my things done at Dyer also. And they were asking, okay. And as usual, he has to do it 2 3 times. And he was laughing that, yes, I know it's Beena's thing, so it will take time. And she's very picky about the color and all these. Anyway, when I was there and I was feeling, and Amy asked me to buy some jewelry for upcoming event, and I said no, I don't like these things. But I tried to find some, but nothing was actually my liking. So I said no. So everything was almost done in the time I was expecting, and when we were coming back, I feel that why I was missing something, and that I was missing actually was sadness, and I was feeling sad. It's a very deep feeling, intense, and I try to rationalize it, like okay, oh, try to make sense of it, that why I'm feeling sad. Then I said, okay, maybe because this was the first time after my stepfather transition. He used to drop us there, and he used to pick up us
mm,
from there. So that may be because I'm very much used to going with him there and then coming back. So maybe that was a thing I was missing there. That was the first time I was going there. So okay, sadness. Then I said why I was feeling sad, and I said maybe because the market was unusually empty. There was very few people there for purchasing and buying. And as they say, that to sit with that feeling, that was very unusual for me because I used to divert my feelings and thoughts into different things, like being busy in physically in something else, like talking, like calling and watching music, playing some video game, that type of things. But because that wasn't not the situation, so I had to sit with that feeling. And then I start thinking about that. And then I said, no, it was not the sadness, it was emptiness. Oh, so I thought that I was feeling the emptiness of that market very deeply inside me. Okay, again, makes some sense now. Okay, so Beena, again, that feeling was not going away. I said, okay, deliberately try to shift your mood. I tried to, but I need a reason. And then I said, no. Sil says that, no, we can be happy without any reason. I said, okay, at least give a genuine try, Beena. Because we had a huge argument about that. Anyway, I said, no, I cannot just feel
That's it.
happy without any reason. Okay, I try to shift that, but instead of shifting, what happens that I get deeper into that feeling again. And then that emptiness shift into disconnect. And I realized that I was not feeling connected to that place anymore or that activity anymore. I was like, no, nothing was for me. I was feeling totally disconnected. I was feeling a bit alien there. Okay. And I said, okay, because I grew up now, this is a sign of a maturity I'm having now. So maybe that's just why it is the disconnect. I don't like these things anymore. The Bengals were still, I was drooling over that, but okay, not that much. And I said, okay, but yes, it's a disconnect. This place, I don't belong to this place anymore. Makes sense. And then I was trying to think it through. And then I said, no, the disconnect was actually the void. So it started from the sadness, and now it was on the void. And I said, okay, now I'm feeling the void because I don't belong to my old self anymore. And I'm jumping towards the new self, which is not yet in my grasp. So I'm feeling that void. I have left the old swing. Now I'm in the void. I have to cling to the new swing. Uh, and I said, okay, now it makes sense. But the whole process, when I was sharing with Sil, I realized that the whole process was acknowledging my feeling. As I always say that I have to, for me it is very, very, very big deal to acknowledge my feelings. So after a very long, I was just feeling that thing and I was not trying to get rid of it. I was uh, i was feeling that inside my body. Physically I was also feeling that. I was feeling in my consciousness, in my awareness, in my mind, and I was thinking about that. And I was practicing without even knowing, I was practicing, try to think it through to the end. So it started from the sadness, and now gradually it jumps up to the void. And it was getting more abstract, more abstract, more abstract, and not abstract in the sense that it was disconnected from the specific event or feeling, but just getting
More
more
zoomed out.
and understand the bigger picture. And in that sense, when we were discussing, Sil, what you said, just please say it
You
again.
asked me a
And I said,
question.
okay, Sil. Yes.
What was the question?
I don't remember now.
Oh, uh, I don't remember exactly, but you asked me like, why? Why am I seeing it this way? What's going on here? You know, how come I'm seeing it in this way now? This emptiness or this disconnectedness? And then
Yeah.
what did I say?
And then Sil said to me that Beena, that okay, this just not try to jump on the logical reason, and it was a reiteration of the feeling and believing concept. And he just said then one or two lines. I don't remember the exact word because
Oh,
suddenly,
I said, maybe Beena, you've
yeah.
come to see the market differently, simply
Yes. Okay.
to
Yes.
make you aware that you can see the market differently.
Yes. And you said, yeah, you now you are able to see that differently.
Yeah.
And suddenly something is sparked in my mind, and I said, oh my God, usually before today, what used to happen, what I used to do when I feel something, like in this particular situation, I feel that sadness in the beginning, and I was okay. My mind was saying, "It is sadness. Why I'm feeling sad?" In the usual previous way, what I would do is try to connect it. Oh, I'm feeling the sadness. Oh, I'm feeling the sadness in the market, about the market. Oh my God, something bad is about to happen in the market.
Mhm.
And then I would make some sort of prediction in my mind, and with the collaboration of, because this whole thing is connected to the feeling, so it is connected to the subconscious mind also, not only the conscious mind. So with the collaboration of subconscious mind and my conscious mind, this thing become the really powerful intent. Though I was saying that, oh my God, something bad is about to happen, oh God forbid, oh yeah. But because my subconscious mind would also involve in that, then it would become, which is what usually happened in the past, become a very powerful compounding intent and a self-fulfilling belief or prophecy. And this is how this whole prediction process actually happened for me in the past. I guess not only this, but well, of course more. But this is how we try to make some sort of connection, logic, reason, excuse for any feeling.
Mhm.
That my feeling could be for any of the reason I stated before, or could be anything else other than or beyond my understanding. It could be anything. But what I used to do in a usual way was, oh my God, I'm feeling something, then this must be something connected to this thing and this
Must
thing, and
be.
then my intuition, and then everything connected, and we try to make something. And because it is, again, I'm saying that because subconscious is also involved, because it is connected to feeling, then it becomes a really powerful intent.
Yeah.
And then things happen, things manifest in your life.
Yeah.
But what happened because of this feeling and believing course, though I was feeling uncomfortable with my feelings, though that sadness, emptiness, or disconnected feeling, but I didn't just try to wipe it out or just put it under the carpet and I go, no, 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 I don't want to feel that, and I don't. I just sit there. I acknowledge that feeling, and I said, okay, yes, this is what I'm feeling, but and why? Of course, this was the usual way. And I said, okay, now I'm trying to make sense of it. And I was trying to think about this. And then, okay, just by thinking, because at that moment, I was not really trying to get any excuse for that. I was just trying to understand the feeling itself, not the reason and the logic. So I got more awareness about the feeling. I got more clarity. Okay, it's emptiness. It is okay. No, it is void. It's disconnect. And in the process, because I was acknowledging my feeling, so my feelings were getting really calm. It was not getting into the energy in motion. And it was like, okay, yes, she is addressing it. Okay, she's there, emotionally available for her own self. And then I shared with Sil. So instead of going into the foretelling process, what I did, just because of this whole course, I I just sit with my feeling. I acknowledge those feeling, but I didn't try to make any sense of it. I didn't try to connect it, because what I can connect with my feelings, of course, some physical reason.
You didn't try to assign a reason. Yes?
Yeah, no, yes, this is what we
Assign.
try to do. Yes,
Assign a reason. Yes.
reason, and we see that, oh, because of this and because of this and all that time. I said, no, I was just trying to understand the feeling. I was not trying to assign the reason or a logic or any excuse, nothing. So that was, in itself, it was a healing process, because I was there. I always use this term for myself. I was emotionally available for myself. I was not disregarding, I was not discarding my feeling. I was not saying, oh, no, no, it's not. No, I was trying to understand that whatever I'm feeling, it could be for any reason. I'm open to awareness, but I'm not here to assign any logical reason, try to, or make any excuse or anything, nothing. And that was really, really amazing for me when Phil said that. Oh, I said, oh my God. It's an ability now I got. Okay, maybe I hope that I got it. So to see things uh, differently, to see things in a different perspective, or perceive things in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the whole story, Donna. The whole story of me going market and having
Yeah.
some feeling.
The key point is that you perceived something differently. And
Yes.
instead of looking for a reason and assigning a belief to it, which now justified that feeling, and then creating a whole loop that was a reality creating loop in the future, you
Yes.
unhooked from that and
Yeah.
said, it is what it is. The perception was just different. I now, because I perceive things differently and felt differently about it, I can choose how I choose to perceive the market. Yes? Or anything for that matter. Yeah?
Yes.
Mm. Wow, very cool. What's your takeaway on it, Donna? Donna Magic, where are you?
I'm here. It sounds like it was eye-opening for you and brought some kind of excited peace, like you were able to find your observer glasses that they talk about.
Mm. Mm. Very cool. Very cool. What do you make of it for yourself, Donna? Just from a awareness point of view.
The concept I experience, it's not
Mm.
um, for certain events. I find it easier to put on my observer glasses than others.
Mm.
Just depends on the event.
That default of assigning or ascribing or attributing reason, that's the big issue. That's the big revelation for you, right, Beena?
Say it again, sir.
That the default, that habit, that automaticness of assigning or ascribing or attributing a reason to a feeling, right? And then that moment that was assigned, that reason was there, it now created a future because of it. Right? That was the big connection for you, right? Not necessarily only seeing the connection between feeling and belief, but how they become their own self-fulfilling prophecies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the point I was saying, that the first okay, again, the benefit of listening to this feeling and believing and discussing it and reading it, like very with open eyes and with open ears. I was reading that, and we had a kind of a like very intense discussion, Donna, about this, because I was not agreeing on that I can have any feeling without any reason. I said, okay, I need a reason to shift to certain specific feeling. Anyway, this is another debate. But because when I was doing that, this whole idea, this whole concept was actually get imprinted in my mind. And this is how things works for me. And I said, okay, but when I was feeling, instead of be feeling overwhelmed by that sadness feeling, I said, okay, I'm feeling that. And I tried to understand instead of trying to make a logical reason for that. This is the process I used to have before. Whenever I feel something, I try immediately jump on to find some reason for that. And that was actually a very counterproductive process for acknowledging my feelings. when I try to immediately try to jump onto find some reason for that, I actually don't sit with my feeling. So in the
Yeah.
process, I was
So
actually
real
not.
quick, to interrupt you real quick, sorry, hold your thought, please. When you feel something and you immediately put a reason to it, don't you also in that moment externalize the feeling? It's the
Yes,
feeling is from somewhere else. If there's a reason, it's coming from there. So you can't really own it.
exactly. This is what I'm
You're not
saying. That
available.
actually,
Okay. I'm just
actually
checking.
negate of my feeling, this feeling and believing, and just not trying to jumping on to finding any in search of any reason or logical reason, or trying to rationalize it, or looking for logic. This is actually a very very profound process of acknowledging your feeling. So that in that process, what I was doing, I was not trying to find any reason, I was just accepting that, okay, yes, I was acknowledging my feeling, yes, I'm feeling, but what really I'm feeling. So that was the question I had. Okay, I said, okay, I'm feeling sadness, which was not really a precise idea of, it was not getting the real sense to me. And I said, maybe because of this, but no. Why I was not connected to that feeling, reason, because that was not the sadness.
Mhm.
In my usual previous practice, I would say that, oh, because I was feeling my stepfather, I was missing my stepfather, that's why. And I would negate that feeling. But in today, what I did, I said, no, but I need to understand that what I'm actually feeling. So the second thing was emptiness. And I said, okay, the second process of, oh, because I was feeling some emptiness from the market. But I don't feel that. No, that was also not something, not. So I was saying, no, I need to explore my feelings more instead of trying to find any reason or logic for that. So my mind was actually continuously trying to stop that process of trying to find any logic or reason for that. And instead, it was saying that, okay, just sit with your feeling, just acknowledge your feeling itself. And so that's how it comes. I said, okay, no, first it was sadness, then it was emptiness, then it becomes disconnect. And then I said, no, it was a void I was feeling. And that whole process of acknowledging your feeling instead of trying to make any excuse, which is kind of a disrespect of your feelings. Because if you are feeling something, just sit with that, try to understand what you are actually feeling. It seems like on surface, like in my case, it was like, oh, I was feeling sadness. No, I was not feeling sadness, and I was not feeling satisfied. If it would happen in the past, I would say, oh, it was just because my I was missing my stepfather, that's it. I would not acknowledge that. I would not give due respect to that process. And that thing could go on without actually giving me any awareness. So I just sit with that, and I was focusing. It was a deliberate effort, you can say that, um, to just focus on feeling itself instead of any reason or logic behind that. Just focusing on my feeling, and I get more and more clarity. And because of this process, what else happened is that it actually inhibit my mind
Mm.
to create any self-fulfilling
Reason for it, you just felt.
yeah. So that was really an eye-opening thing for me, that oh my god. And then I realized that, okay, this is how things happen. Usually these intuitive predictions happened, because we feel things, and because we feel something, instead of giving due respect to our feeling itself, we try to make some logical reason of that. And we pick things from um, external world, and we make some connection and say, okay, this is how it is. And then we don't sit with our feeling, we don't give due respect to our feeling actually. We assume that, oh, I'm just following my feeling, but it is actually a disrespect to our feeling when we try to make some logical reason for that. It is like, oh my God. And I got more and more clarity. Of course, it will be it will be more in that if I just sit with that feeling and I start understanding that why it was happening, what I was really what I was really feeling. That's it. Why, not why, but just what I was feeling. So it started from the sadness, comes to the void, and that void gives me peace because, okay, I'm feeling the void because now I have empowerment. Now I can fill it with whatever I will choose. So
Yeah.
the void is an empty canvas. I can paint it whatever I choose to. And that was the real.
Void is an empty canvas. I can paint with whatever I choose. Sorry, keep going, Beena. Just want
Yeah.
to repeat that.
So that was the whole process for me.
Wow.
And I was the one who always say, whenever Sil mentioned feelings, I always say that, sorry, I will not allow anyone to say anything about my feelings because I was struggling big time to feel things. And today I realized that I was actually not giving due respect to my feelings.
Mm.
It is like your child just open your mouth to say something and you assume that, oh, he's hungry or she's hungry, and you just shove the feeder in his mouth and say, okay, yes, that's it.
Ah,
Because
ah.
this is how I was doing. I was trying to make some logical reason of my feeling, and that was a disrespect. That was not really an acknowledgement of my feeling.
Because you are creating a reason, not
And oh,
finding
oh
peace.
yes, oh,
Yes.
because my baby is hungry. Shove a feeder in his mouth. Okay, my baby is crying because of this. Okay, no, you did actually didn't try to understand that what is happening. Instead, you just assume why it is happening. You try to
Create
solve the
it.
problem.
Create the reason.
Exactly. So because we were so much into why it is happening instead of what is happening, we were not giving a due respect to my. So okay, Sil, that was something I was not getting, and I'm the one here who never accept anything unless until I understand that.
And that's the magic, Beena. That's your magic. That's same with Donna.
Donna,
That's
we had a
that's what
horrible
makes you
argument
guys
about
so.
this.
It's so important. That's so brilliant. So brilliant. So brilliant. So brilliant. So brilliant.
So now I can write something about this feeling and believing, because
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
this thing, it has to be there, that
Beena's post on feeling and believing. Yeah. Yeah.
trying to figure out any logical reason or excuse for my feeling is actually an insult, or actually not giving due respect to my feeling.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That'll create some good discussion.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But Donna, I'm assuming that something inside you is going on. So I'm keen to hear.
Just two concepts that I wanted to clarify, but it's really not all that important. It's just
Oh, it is.
death.
It is.
Well, it's not really just death and suicide and
Oh, wow, that's very important. Let's hear. Let's hear. Please, Donna. Let's hear. We're in full philosophical discussion mode and magic mode and inspiration mode and awareness mode and connection mode, application mode. So let's hear.
illusion. No, just I a pressure of, like, I shared with somebody that I was suicidal, and I feel as though they took it as a depression or sadness, like Beena was talking about, and assigned a feeling, and then went further and assigned their definition of what that meant, and it's not what I meant at all, and I'm not sure how to broach that subject from an abstract, and like revisit that. And the second was, as far as an illusion, um, when we were talking about it and I was bringing up like Sue as an illusion, and you said, well, just go to Pennsylvania and see. To me, that's being delusional, which is not really what is that wasn't what I meant by an illusion. Just the option or concept that we're sort of here and we're in like a computer simulation, and we all have different paths, but it's all to remember who we really
I was
are. And
sharing that to bring the illusion side into stark contrast. Like, yes, you know that. So now it was to make it a sharp contrast. And then the next point was about going with both and getting the value either way from both, right?
that concept, like what Beanie was just talking about, it really goes back to assigning meaning to feelings instead of just being the feeling. And to be the feeling, it for me requires such a shift, for two reasons. One, because I shoved so many of them down, I wasn't allowed to feel. So then I had to, kind of open up that. And then once I opened up that, it was like you have all these feelings, like Beena just said. Well, there was sadness, and then there was emptiness, and then there's void. And like you're not even used to feeling them. So you don't even have a name for them. You're not connected. Your body's not connected to what that feeling is. So it was a whole process of connecting my body with the feeling, and then figuring out what feeling I could actually be. And then another shift to, okay, that is, feeling for me is sadness. No, it's not really sadness. It's like Beena was saying, it's more of emptiness. And what does emptiness feel like in my body? And okay, I'm being emptiness right now, and just be it, and not assign a, a no assignment of why it has to be there. It just is. And just being with it. Okay, I'm just going to be emptiness right now and be with that feeling and let it flow through. So it was just a progression. And I feel like right now, I just really am struggling with the void of, if you're just being with your feeling, for example, or you're not assigning a meaning of something, like a meaning of a feeling, then what is the feeling there for? And the logical side, when I try to assign the logical, the left brain process to that, it is kicking it out. The program saying, no, that's old programming. You can't access that anymore. You got to go to this new programming, your right side of your brain, and just be it. And not worry about assigning a meaning or assigning even a name to it necessarily. Just feel it. Just don't worry if it's this or it's that or it's another. And there's just something inside that's like, okay, I can do that, but why am I here? Where's the meaning? Where's the purpose of all that? You're just, okay, expansion of awareness. And then it just like goes blank. It's like, I want to feel joy in that process, but it goes blank.
And isn't the purpose to be able to choose joy? That's the point of the awareness. So that you can deliberately choose joy, so that you're not at the mercy of circumstance, like Beena in the market.
I think I have a hard time with choose joy, like the market, like choose joy. I am joy. And if I don't use my logical mind to make a logical connection between my body and joy, it's just there.
Okay, yeah, sure. To choose to be joy, just my expression there. Absolutely. But you're saying you couldn't feel awareness, right, as some kind of a point and purpose. But can you feel being joy as a point and purpose of everything, as the meaning of life? Awareness is
But
just the
if
tool
I
that
don't,
enables
if
you
I
to do that.
don't try to use a left brain approach to it and a logical approach, and I just let it be, then I can be joy. But if I try to like be, there's something still in the left brain logical process that's saying, okay, if you're only here to expand your awareness, when is awareness expanded enough? And then I get this, okay, well, if you're in a void,
Let's answer that
wait,
question. Sorry.
no, it's a sequence. And then if it's never enough, it's this whole destination thing of you got to get to a certain point. And then if it's if there if it's just all expanding awareness, I have to have a replacement for I
Or
don't know. My analytical mind is trying to be involved in a process and it's no longer there. And I keep trying to go back and pull it into something that's not even appropriate for it to be involved in. And it's causing conflict. And I'm keenly aware of what I'm doing. I'm just not keenly aware of like how to not do it anymore.
so can't you just tell your logical mind the end chain, the end point is one which you need to feel, brain, not think, and you are able to do it. So the end point is to become aware that being joy is the end point. That's the logic. The logic is to be aware, that's your job, logic, to be aware that to feel joy, to be joy, this is the end point. So now you can relax because we are able to do that. So all you got to do, the end point is now to say, fine, we can be joy, but we're doing so through choice, not through force of circumstance, because that's a little bit iffy. You could feel joy as a result of external circumstance, and that's a bit vulnerable because those circumstances could change and then you don't feel joy. Then you feel sorrow or hopelessness or whatever. So you're at the mercy of things. So the end point is to get to where you can choose it deliberately. When you can choose it deliberately, well, then you choose it deliberately and you be joy, and that's it. No more
Okay,
logic.
the choosing part in my analytical mind means that I'm assigning it, like I'm making it logical. To be joy, I don't know what happened, but I can just be joy and then
Right.
and leave it. And then if I want to share joy and collaborate and enhance and make that joy larger, I choose the things that I'm involved in to do that. And that's a whole different thing than I used to be. But the fact that I'm choosing it, for some reason it's associating that choice with some kind of analytical, and I'm not sure why it's bringing in the analytics of
Gotcha.
choosing.
It's just habit. So you could say, awareness transcends logic. Yes,
Yes.
that's very logical, right?
Right.
Okay. So now, Mr. Logic, we are now shifting into awareness. And the point and purpose of awareness is to be able to transcend logic and therefore to switch off logic when appropriate, capital A appropriate. Yes? And to switch off logic and analytics when it's appropriate. And when is it appropriate? When I need to choose my joy feeling, when I need to be it. I need to then switch off. You've brought me to this point of choice. Thank you very much. Your job is done. End of you. Thank you. I'm in awareness, and the awareness is being joy. I'm aware that I'm being joy. I'm aware that it's my choice to be joy, no matter what the world is around me.
Right.
That's very logical, is it not?
It is. And I can be that.
But you can switch it off and just be joy. That's it.
But what brought me there was my logical left brain.
Correct. But use your logical left brain to say that it's to bring you to a point and then to stop. That's logical. Because you won't be able to feel the joy if you keep on in the logic loop. So
Right.
logic says you have to stop in the logic loop, in the analytical loop. So use logic in it against itself, as it were, or to leverage itself to say, you've done your job. Thank you. You've brought me to this point. That's your job. That's it. Your job is not to go any further. There is no further. This is the end point. You've brought me here where I'm aware that I can choose joy, and I can, and I do. And here we go. Thank you. I'm feeling my joy. I'm feeling my joy. I'm feeling my joy. And I'm immersed in feeling and being my joy. That's it.
That
No need
shift
for
is into the right brain so you can actually feel it.
exactly. Exactly. So the logic takes you there in case you've been popped out of that for whatever reason. And the logic is just to bring you back. But why are you feeling other stuff? It's more logical to feel joy. Okay. Back you go to joy. See? Very powerful tool, this logic. It's simply there to remind you it's the most logical thing you can do is to feel and be joy.
You have a very well developed logic muscle.
Right? So use it. Use it to feel joy. That's the most logical thing you can do with your time and your energy. Yes? What's more logical than feeling and being joy? Donna's well-developed logical muscle. Please tell me.
Nothing.
Thank you. Case closed. Thank you. We find for the plaintiff.
Still,
Yes.
okay, you said okay, write it down, and I'm writing it down. So just few minutes back, I I wrote it up, and I was writing my story, and still I am. I wrote it down that whenever I have some sort of feeling, my mind start working like a robot on command, and okay, find some reason, and when I find some external reason, okay, my inner broker's job well done, file closed, and this is what you said right here.
There you go. There you go. Life is easy. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Beena. I knew that your two things were going to, connect, and there would be this deep, deep, profound connection. And that's the same thing, Donna. Your that habit of looking for a reason, it keeps going when you get to the end, and it says, well, but what's next? What's next? No, we've gotten to the end. Thank you. There is no next. So relax, enjoy. Yes, Donna.
Simple.
Say again.
It's so simple.
It is. It is. However, but
No, it's not
no, but
easy. It's simple, but it's not easy, especially when it's something you're.
takes practice, right, Donna?
Yeah.
As in all these things, doesn't it just take a bit of practice?
Yep.
Practice and what else it takes?
Distance.
Show you. I shall show you. Now, there's one more critical ingredient involved in all of this. Very critical ingredient. You see the critical ingredient on Zoom?
Oh. What is this?
What is that?
You don't know what that is? Really?
Oh. Is it
Come on.
food?
Ice cream. Ice cream. Oh, great
Oh,
big
ice
chocolate ice cream.
cream.
That's the other
That
critical.
did not look like ice cream to me.
Oh, well.
Some strange plant.
Oh, well. Oh, well. Okay, it's magical ice cream. That's why I didn't recognize. It's magical ice cream.
Still, it was looked like a strange planet surface.
Right, didn't it? I
Oh,
go with that for sure versus ice cream. I'm with you on that one, Beena.
it's the planet logic. These are such great deals. I love this. Just ice cream and this whole bucket is like $5 or $6. Isn't that pretty good, Beena?
We always have enough money.
This is the problem with Sil. He always appreciate that. Oh my God, this is so magical. Just look at the price. I don't look at the price. I just enjoy my things.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I won't touch a cheapskate anymore. I hear you. I won't be a cheapskate.
Yeah.
It gives me joy to get good value for my money.
This is the thought process you have.
Yeah.
See, it still makes.
The fancy ice creams don't necessarily taste any better.
I'm not saying that you have to buy expensive. I'm just saying that focusing on the price is a different thing. I'm not saying that you have to buy.
It's a lack mentality when you constantly of looking at discounts and coupons, and abundance mentality is the universe always provides. It always has more than enough. Money is just another energy.
Exactly.
I agree. I stand reprimanded. Oh, correction, I sit reprimand. Put some raisins on the ice cream. Good
Reasons.
stuff. Good stuff. Yeah.
Beena, that sounds like you had a magical afternoon. That was like a big aha moment for you. Yes.
Exactly, Donna. For me it was very new. It was very new. That was the whole feeling, the whole process. Okay, not feeling. The whole process was new for me because in the past, as I shared before, what I used to do is my logical mind used to jump on instead of what, jump to why.
Why? Right. I hear you on that.
Yeah. And when I try to figure out why, I was disrespecting my feeling. I was not acknowledging my feeling. Instead, it was like, oh, it must be because of this. It must be because of that.
Must be. Must be is like should. Oh,
And
criminal stuff that must be.
and also my whole energy, my whole awareness, my whole consciousness, my whole being shifted to that logic, to that reason, instead of my feeling itself. And that was not an acknowledgement of my feeling. It was actually not giving due respect to my feeling. And that's how I was becoming numb for my own self. And I was always saying, sharing with you guys that I was not emotionally available for myself. That was the feeling, that was the process I was doing, I was involved in continuously. If I'm feeling something, there must be something. And when I do that, again, the most horrible thing, okay, in this case, was whenever I found some logical reason, my intuitive mind jumped in and said, oh, because I was feeling sad, there must be something bad is about to happen in this market. Because I was feeling sad in the market. Oh my God. And that because my subconscious mind involved in that. So the collaboration of my subconscious mind and my logical mind becomes so powerful and it start compounding the intent, inadvertent intent. And it's like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I was like, see,
So,
I was
what's the
speaking.
feeling?
Okay.
What's your feeling? Why did it come? If it's not the why, how is that feeling present? How would you answer that?
Yes, Donna. First, I was perceiving. I was not actually. You can. It was not just a feeling. I was perceiving that, and in the beginning, because I was not able to really understand that what I was feeling. So the first conclusion was, oh, I'm feeling sad because yes, there was something in my mind that, oh, I used to come with my stepfather here, and now this is the first time I came here after him. So the sadness part, okay, obvious. And I was just desperately trying to get some logical reason. But then when I got that, I said, no, but what I'm feeling. Again, the whole process of that course was to actually understand that. And I went back to my feeling. Then I realized, no, it is not sadness, it is emptiness. Oh, again, my logical mind jump in. Oh, Beena, because market was empty and you were feeling that emptiness inside you. Okay. Mm. But my subconscious mind again jumped to my feeling because that was the intent. I want to feel. I want to feel. And when in when we were doing this course, and still just was sharing with me that whatever he was doing, so I had this whole course in my mind, in my subconscious also. And because we had a huge argument about that, so that's why also. And um, and then I said no. Again I jump onto what instead of why. And then I realized, no, it is not emptiness, it is a disconnect. So you see that the whole process was back and forth just to get the more clarity of my feeling. And the more I was paying attention to my feeling, the more I was getting a bigger picture of it. Because first, it was very immediate, very personal sadness. Oh, because of the loss. Okay. Emptiness. No, it is not personal, Beena. It is the collective thing from the market. The disconnect. Now it is becoming more spiritual. Okay. I'm disconnecting from personal to collective to spiritual. Okay. What else? And then I got that no, it is not even a disconnect, because disconnect was connected to the logical mind only. I said no. Now then I realized that it is a void I'm feeling, and the moment I realized that it's a void, I got that sense of empowerment in my mind and my soul, in my heart, that oh, if it is a void, then it's a plain canvas. I can paint it whatever I want to. And
Beena?
that
Oh,
the moment
sorry.
this understanding about that. And that was the shift. This is how shift happened. I'm not like Sil who can just shift it right away. I cannot do this because my logical mind is always with me.
Hmm.
So I was going through that process step by step, deliberate process, deliberate steps I was taking and pulling myself back again and again and again. And this is how this thing happened.
Let me ask you something really big deal here, Beena.
Okay. Yeah.
Very big deal. You go back through the story now, right? Through your experience, not the story, the experience.
Yeah.
And you said you there was the feeling in the market and you saw it, and then you put a reason to it, right?
Yes.
But the very first awareness of the market, was that a feeling or a perception?
Perception.
And then did you assign a feeling to the perception, the same as you later assigned a reason for the
Yes.
feeling?
And forth. Yes. It interconnected. Yes.
First, there was the perception, which was just perception. Then you assigned feeling, then you assigned reason or
Okay.
belief to the feeling, right?
So it started with, because when I was going there, it was a memory in my mind that this is the first time I'm going after my stepfather transition. So, okay, that was a feeling, okay, perception and feeling both at that time, the sadness.
Wow.
But it was not really obvious for me. It was just like memory going on in my mind, and I was going there. When I entered the market, and I was doing things, suddenly I start getting the perception of the market that it is unusually empty. And then the
Right.
feeling connected to the previous feeling connected to that perception. And that perception created more intense feeling in my consciousness. Okay, if I feel
Um,
my feeling in my consciousness. Yeah.
so sorry, I want to make one big jump here to what Donna was saying and to what we were talking about earlier, fluid reality, and
Mhm.
the point and purpose and meaning of everything. There is no inherent meaning as far as I'm concerned, my personal opinion. And there's lots of logic to it. It's just energy. We need to assign meaning and assign feeling, and we need to become expert at it so that we don't fall into these traps of assigning meaning that we don't want, assigning feeling that we don't want, assigning beliefs and ideas and reasons we don't want. We can do that whatever we want, but we want to be the ones that are doing this deliberately according to our decisions, not random, not habit, not habituation, not history, none of that stuff. So let's start and go further back, past feeling and believing that loop, and say first comes perception. But perception is just there, it's nothing, you're just perceiving. So we want to make it into something, give it some meaning, some purpose, and then we start assigning feeling and beliefs to make it purposeful and make it meaningful. Otherwise, we get to the point where Donna was saying, well, but there's no real meaning to the universe.
Yes, it can go.
But
As I
but
said that
maybe there isn't. Sorry, but maybe there isn't. I just want to finish my thing here. Yes, there may or may not be, depending on how you want to look at it. Maybe the meaning and the point of it is the awareness which enables you to choose the meaning you wish to give to the universe. Up to you. That meaning could be joy, could be bliss, ecstasy, harmony, could be learning, growing, could be power, whatever you wish. Grace, doesn't matter. That's your choice. But that's the point. It's your choice. Does that make sense a bit, Donna? Sorry, can you just hold one more minute, Beena? I just want to hear from Donna on this.
It makes sense, but it's like this. It's like the starting point has to be deliberate from the perception standpoint, and that's not always easy to do because you have all these habits and past experiences, and so that clean canvas, even when you get to a clean canvas standpoint, there's like I experience something that wants to hold on to the memories because using the logical mind and assigning meaning that was habitual from the past and connecting that to the old memories has some type of comfort food to it. It's like eating ice cream. So it's like you got to give up all of that. And from the get-go, like the whole perception, like walking in there, you don't even have any feeling of anybody that transitioned. That's just not even there anymore. So right from the very first step, it's sort of gone. And then once it's gone, it's like, whoa, what am I stepping into here at the market? This is so different. And then to let that flow is simple. It's simple. It's simple what's going on. You kind of sadness and then no this and then maybe this, and I'm just being that feeling. But for me, I still get uneasy and queasy going through that.
Could it be that you're uneasy because you are being now called upon to be the authority?
Authority of what? My life?
Life, the universe, the meaning of the universe, everything, every single thing. And you're uncomfortable because you say, who am I to be the authority? I might be wrong. Yes, you might be wrong, but so what?
Well, I might be wrong about everything. I don't have a problem with not being right.
Right. But when it comes to deciding, how the universe works or deciding your meaning of life, the purpose of it and all this, you're deciding your meaning. I'm just saying in terms of that possible discomfort that we used to this, well, who am I? And so when we decide really big things, like this is the biggest thing of all to decide, and the discomfort could come from the fact that we are being forced to decide for ourselves. But we have to get over that because only I can make that decision for myself, right, Donna?
I don't think that's it.
Okay. Well, you
That
can't
doesn't
know
feel-
for sure one way or the other, and that might create a bit of discomfort too.
It's more of a replacement. It's just like, I think what happens is it happens and then you're just in the feeling and then you're being that feeling and nothing external is able to knock you off your axis. But I haven't experienced a replacement and I don't know what this new armor feels like. It's like putting on a whole different skin. I don't have a frame of reference, and so I sort of just, I don't know.
Interesting. So what would you need in order to in order to put this to bed, to put this at ease, to make peace with it, to bring it into harmony and grace and moreness?
Consistently bring it into that?
What would you need? Yes. I'll play some music.
I feel like there's just something I need to let go of. And it's not ego and it's not fear and it's not, I know what it's not because I feel it in my body.
Could
I
it
don't
just
know.
your abstract habit? not specific habit, but habit itself.
Letting go of habit.
Yes, habit
mean?
itself, the concept of habit, because habit is very, very comforting. It's very secure. It's attraction.
Comfort food.
Exactly. To step truly into the openness, the magic of the world, where there's no habit, there's no comfort, there's no, I mean, comfort, yes, in magic, but not comfort as in familiarity and continuation. It's all new, it's all more, it's all magic. You're on the grand
You,
adventure, grand discovery.
you, were you, the blank canvas part, where you find joy in that, I find apprehension in that. And I want to feel joy and I want to feel excitement and I want to feel exuberated. And I do, but I also have another feeling in there that's holding
Ah,
that back.
yeah. Well, there you go. So now we're getting somewhere. So this apprehension is of the blank canvas is why.
I don't have anything to replace it with. Like, I don't know what fluid reality is. I don't know what that's like. I mean, you're expressing words that feel good, exuberance and magic and a blank canvas and exciting and then you think, oh yay, it's a blank canvas and everybody's seeing that as here we go and that's wonderful. And I feel that, but I also have a little voice that says, yeah, but don't you see? It's a freaking blank canvas. What are you gonna do with that? You don't even have a replacement.
Ah,
What's on the other
okay.
side of that blank canvas? What are you
There
gonna
is
do
no
with
other
it?
side to the blank canvas. It is you gonna choose what you put on the canvas, but you don't feel like you know what you're gonna put on there.
No,
So
I don't.
right. But this is the point, though. It is about creating what you want. You're doing that now. You just don't realize it. You just have familiarity and habit, which is you constantly painting that canvas. So do the same thing you're doing now, but now you can just add variation to it. It's not a whole new start. It's just the same thing. Yes, it's a blank canvas in a sense, but you can, if you want to, you don't have to start with a blank canvas. You can start with what you have now and just keep changing it. Just use the eraser, paint over it, whatever. Creativity is the issue here, and you are the creator. It's a big responsibility, but that's the bottom line.
Well, if I'm the creator, why is it being created externally?
Because you're hooked in to must be and should and pattern and habit and others' ideas and beliefs, everything that we spoke about. That was the magical moment for Beena. Not that she was assigning beliefs, but the magical realization was that it was connected. All of a sudden, she realized, oh my God, gosh, I'm going to be now making this into something in the future. And it's a reality creation perspective, right? That belief and feeling assignment to the perception, it led to her creating a reality in the future. Don't have to be scary. You can just take whatever you're doing now and just tweak it to get to where you want to, which you've been doing. You've been getting all these magical representations. You set an intent, you focus, you put attention, it comes into your life. That's a very gentle way of doing it. It's a very gentle way of familiarizing you with this profound apprehension of fluid reality, which is, oh, it's a blank. Now what?
My question was, with that gentle introduction to fluid reality, why does it happen why is the creation being materialized in other people's life and not mine? Like, not in that makes me feel like there's like something that's
So that you can see it from a detached perspective. If it was in your life, you might get so overwhelmed with it that you get immersed in it and not actually see it as fluid reality, materialization, and creation.
But it is fluid reality materialization. And what freaks me out is that it's happening out there and not here. And so what is the disconnect? Why can't
Why does
I?
that freak you out?
Because it's like if you're in a fluid reality and you're creating, but you're creating a thread and it's being created out there in somebody else's reality. And
Yeah.
if you
Oh,
want to be able to be a master of creation and be totally open to fluid reality and what comes, wouldn't you want to have some mastery so that you know if you have these thoughts going on or this is happening and you're part of a collective consciousness, that your contribution is mastered and direct, not flying out there.
right. That's one view of it, right? That's one way to make sense of it. Is that the only way to make sense of it? I can think of half a dozen. Easy.
Well, then please share because that's the only one I can think of.
That's the
That's part
point.
of the
That's
challenge.
why I'm not going to share. I really am not. In the same way as, and I'll explain why in a moment, right? In the same way as we were looking at the thing with the Christmas invitation, right? And then we started to say, yeah, but there could be this other reason. There could be this. And we found a whole bunch of reasons, many, many of them, right? Why it could have been sensible. Yeah. So assume that this external materialization is also sensible by you, by your divine self, your higher self, and say, "Ooh, in what way would it be sensible?" And just start from that and see if you can ascribe sensible reasons. Practice this skill of looking at multiple reasons. Then you won't get stuck in just one. And that may be the entire great big lesson here. Why it is so external for you, to force you to try and find the reasons why it makes sense. To
My
practice
brain,
this
my
ability
brain go.
of
That's what I'm trying to say. I can't.
Says who?
It like I've tried to express that so many different times that like when we have conversations and then I bring something, it's because I'm in that black. I'm in that mud. I'm in the like this perspective that I have right now is the only one that's there. And I'm keenly aware that there's multiple perspectives and I need to consider, and there really is no right or wrong and that they have value, but I get stuck and I
Okay.
literally, not always.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
I know I can do it. I don't understand why I get stuck at certain things.
Okay. So let's just really get to the bureaucracy and shift the parameters. Sometimes it's just a matter of relabeling the task, right? So you are perceiving a particular perspective or particular explanation of things, right? And that's it, the one explanation. And now we need to find additional explanations. Let us look for, you've got one explanation, which is an accurate, accurate and true and realistic explanation. But let's not look for others because your brain is saying, yeah, but there can only be one accurate explanation. Right, fine. All right, brain, let's put that aside. We're going to do a different exercise. What theoretical, hypothetical, fantastical story, if you want to say it, like for a story, magical explanations could be there. Not accurate and real and true ones, but potential possibilities, just fantasy explanations. Does that help your brain, maybe?
No, I do that. That's exactly how I get to multiple perspectives. I just make a game out of it and I do what my child like self used to do in my old story when I was younger. I would just imagine and I would think of all these different scenarios and all these different wonderful magical things it could be. And so that's how I'm able to look at it from multiple perspectives. And a lot of times that's how automatically it comes into an abstract. It's just on certain things. And it is like all my go-to tools don't seem to be effective in certain situations. And there's not many of them anymore. It used to be a lot worse. And I'm trying to work through that as all. And so a lot of times that's why I bring stuff to you guys. And I know you think, gosh, you're not hearing me. I am hearing
Oh,
you,
we never think that. Sorry. No, 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 no.
but I just need a different perspective. I need to get out of the mud, and I'm just
Gotcha.
my regular tools.
Oh, you think, okay. So I'm just asking, yeah, that maybe it's just because these have been emphasized so much and they've been emphasized as an only perspective. And that's why your brain
Yes,
is hardwired.
probably.
Okay.
Probably
let me,
deeply ingrained,
gotcha.
hardwired over and over, kind of a event and an experience. And then I assigned
Fascinating.
meaning to that, a feeling to that, and it won't let go of it.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Just want to try a few things for before I can come up with extra perspectives, no problem. But before I go there, I want to rather experiment a little bit with some techniques for you to get there. All right. So let's say it's so entrenched, and like I said, in the what ifs, the hypotheticals, the fantasy things, those aren't working. What if we take this perspective and say, okay, can you give me a variation on it? Just a tiny variation. Like you've got sort of, you see the image, and then like when it's a little bit of a double image, and now you're describing the double image that's just off to the side and just ever so slightly different.
That makes my heart settle down a little bit.
Wow, Donna, Angel, wow.
I don't like at all the black mud. Mm-mm-mm. It gives me monkey mind. My heart races. It's not anxiety. It's this full body experience that's not pleasant.
Wow. All right. So let's start with shifting the belief of the perception, which is that it is not good. And let's say, okay, let's change that to start with, to say it might not be nice, but there's some goodness somewhere. Well,
Yeah, it's true.
what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to just gradually, incrementally shift away from it, kind of ease away from it. Yeah. Because like you said, this is a visceral thing. This is gets your body in it. And when your body feels that way, if your heart is pumping and racing, that shuts the mind down. Yes?
Right. Yes.
Right. So now we can say, let's start with it, with that association. Let's just practice association management.
Association.
Say again.
It is very much an association. I'm not letting go of the old meaning that I've assigned to this particular event or experience. And it's hardwired, it's deeply wired. And I'm keenly aware of the other side of things. And I'm aware of goodness, and I'm aware of just being the person that can pull out the abstract and look at it from different perspectives. And the observer is talking to this other and trying to calm it down, and it normally can, and then I can get to that abstract. But for a few of these things, it turns very black.
Wow. So this is immersion management also.
Oh yeah, it's immersion management, it's association management. It is detaching from assigning meaning to feelings. It is old story release. It's letting go. It's full surrender of something. And it's deeply embedded and deeply ingrained. And if I could get it, the root of what the something is, I feel like my observer mind will be able to pull out of the dark and just let it go. And it doesn't happen very often at all anymore, but it does still. It's like
Okay.
one thread. I feel
Wow.
like it's just one thread.
Right. So you see what I'm looking at? I'm really looking at abstract techniques for dealing with this particular emotion and this particular association. And the abstract technique is here is incremental change. Tiny, tiny, tiny incremental change. Don't when you do a perspective shift, it can be quite a big jump, quite a big shift, like it's a whole other view. Okay, we were seeing it negative, now we're seeing it as positive, but etc. But let's not do that. Let's just go really incrementally to shift away, first of all, from the feeling of whatever the feeling is, and make it just a little less so, a little less. Okay, I'm out of that. The deep
Kind of
emotional
like what
attachment.
Beena did. Kind of like she took the
Exactly.
feeling and okay.
Exactly. Then she felt one thing and she said, "Is this it? Am I at ease here? Is this?" And no, not quite. Okay, next thing. Not quite. And she just kept going. And she said, when she was doing it, she said, in the moment, she said, "I'm going through to the end of this." And I said, "Keep going, keep going, keep going." And at that one point, then she got, and then the connection came, and then there was no more. And then she didn't have a reason for it. And then I suggested, well, maybe the reason is for you to be able to choose. And then the whole thing started. So she just kept on going to that end. And same thing here, just shift incrementally. Okay, what is the closest little thing? And again, it's overwhelm we're dealing with, right? The technique for dealing with
Part of it.
overwhelm is
Yeah.
right, part
It's
of it
part of it.
is to find the smallest, tiniest, easiest little thing that you can do and do that. Yeah. So what's easier? The easiest thing to do is to feel it slightly less. Yes. Can you do that, Donna? You've already done it, I think, right? Donna?
Yeah.
Right. So you just keep going. Okay. So it's slightly less stressful, slightly less bothersome, slightly less locked. Right. See, we're going to bring in a whole lot of slightly lesses here now. Slightly less locked, slightly less stubborn, slightly less, only. Oh, okay. Well, already it's not so hard and fast. It was black. Now it's a little bit gray, this mud, yeah? Or less black, right? Yeah. Do you have a visual for it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So see it as not pitch black, but a black with just not fully black. You can't say it's pitch black, just kind of one shade away from that. Can you see it that way?
Mhm.
All right. So now take that not quite fully black and say, let's remove more black from it. What do you get? What's the mud looking like now?
I have to attach the originating feeling that I assigned meaning to.
Okay. Go through your
So
process.
let
We'll
me.
just listen. We'll just listen.
Well, hmm.
Listening, Donna. We're listening. It's magical, Donna. You're just magic.
It's just. It's like Beena says when people transition. The larger perspective on transition is from an energy standpoint, energy doesn't ever die, and your soul or your spirit never dies. It just comes into different forms. But in the past, I've assigned death with abandonment, with rejection, with being alone. So this shift to transition and recreating a new association with that has those other ties to it, even though I'm fully aware that it's totally different. There's something inside that thinks that if I transition to this new state of being and I stay in joy like I used to when I was a child, that sure enough, somebody was going to die, transition.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, Donna. Wow, wow, wow.
Happened.
It happened.
But I didn't know what death, I didn't know at the time that death was a transition into something even more magical. I just saw it as they left me. Just so many people left without it making sense. And there's an association with that leaving, with death, with transition, and it's all kind of.
And there's an association with you feeling joy, that your joy caused transition or loss.
Well,
Yes?
I always could maintain my joy. I always had joy. So I had sadness when people died, but it didn't impact me the same way other people did because I had some kind of awareness that I couldn't really explain in words, but I felt like they were, and it wasn't really even a religious thing. I just had this knowing that it wasn't the end of them. But then as a kid, I felt like they left me. So there was always this conflict of knowing that there was so much more after leaving a physical body. But everybody around me did the traditional, well, this person died, and therefore we're going to have go to church and we're going to wear black. Well, maybe that's where black comes in. And we're going to have tears and we're going to be mourning and we're going to be in grief for at least a week to be respectable. And inside me, I was feeling like, yes, I'm sad that physically I'm not going to be seeing that person. But I also know that there's something else going on and there's more. And I felt joy. And I didn't know why I would feel joy that somebody had died. And then at the same time, I would go along with the traditional, and then it would just feel like, oh, not only are they're dead, but somehow I tied that to they're abandoning me and I'm going to be all alone. It doesn't even make sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. It's child logic, which makes perfect sense. Child logic isn't particularly logical or sensible. It jumps steps and it puts things together that don't necessarily go together. And it's a very rough and ready logic, but it makes perfect sense, Donna. Perfect sense. It's all related and connected there. It makes perfect sense. So now you're associating the whole chain. You just went through that whole chain. This is very cool, Donna. You went all the way from joy to abandonment through death and grief and being alone and abandonment again, which means, again, the association, the belief is that this means no joy. And this has to be sadness. This has to be unhappiness.
I feel like there's a connection between kind of what you're saying. It's like as a child, I had an awareness that I should be feeling grief and sadness. So I did. And then I took it even further, that I took it very personally. And it was that they were leaving me. And it was so selfish. I mean, the person died. It had nothing to do with me, but yet there was something inside of me as a kid that was like, I took it to that degree. And this is my very black and white aspect that's always been there. It's like they died, or they didn't necessarily even have to die. Like my dad left my world, and he wasn't dead, but he was dead to me. And my brother left, and my grandparents on both sides left, and my aunts left, and my uncles left, and my cousins left, and all these people left my world. So to me, they died, and I felt abandoned, because why did I have all these people one day and then the next day they were just gone? So I equated that to death. And then when they actually did die and I went to their funeral, there was a part of me that as a child, some of those people that died when I was younger, I had an awareness that there was a transition and that there was more to life than a physical body, but I couldn't put it in words. I didn't have a conscious awareness of it, but I didn't feel grief. And then I felt bad because I didn't feel grief. And then everybody around me was like, okay, I'm Catholic. We have to go to church. We have to wear black. We have to cry. And so you do to like fit in. And then you have this association that you're creating over and over again. When one day somebody's in your life and then the next day they're gone. And somehow that experience of abandonment, rejection, and being alone it's always been my Achilles heel. That's my fear. That's the fear I've always had to overcome. And I created a black mud to house that. And so in this transition that I'm in, this moving to a higher level of consciousness and looking at things from this different perspective is a totally different assignment of reality than my old one. So it's feeling like death.
Oh, interesting. And when we look at this, just let's zoom out a little bit and see. First thing, a child's logic and a child's world is that everything revolves around the child. Yes? Donna?
Yeah.
It's not unreasonable. So that's just to understand that, and that's just how the logic is at the time. It's not a fully logical logic, but that's just how it was and how it is. So we just have to accept it as that was the case, and this caused a whole bunch of misbeliefs as a result. Yes.
Understand as an adult how I can have such keen awareness and be shifting to a transition of a way of being and be feeling all these things about death. I don't understand how I assigned that. It's another oxymoron.
You don't understand how you assigned it as a kid?
No, now I'm an adult and I'm transitioning into a new way of being. And I have this awareness that I'm actually exercising that's always been in me. I've just brought it up and I remembered, and I'm practicing it and I'm expanding it and I'm using that muscle so it's getting strong. That transition is bringing up this whole abandonment, fear, death thing.
Right. Because at the time when you were a child, you had strong emotions, and those emotions were an emphasis. that imprinted these beliefs very deeply. And what they were misbeliefs, really, misassociations between abandonment, death, and joy. And you causing it. That whole chain that you spoke through, that you went through, you now have to go back and say, is this accurate? Is this logical? Is this real? Is this true? That you were responsible for these people's death?
I wasn't responsible for their death, but like they were people that, you know, I mean, they were people like my dad.
Yeah.
I love you. Were said, people that say, I love you, for example, I love you. Oh, and by the way, next day they're gone. I mean, as a kid, that doesn't make sense.
Mm.
So what?
Right. As a kid, it makes no sense. But what about when you go now with the Donna of now? Explain it to the Donna of then, to kid Donna.
All of that, was a gift in the fact that it's brought me to where I am now. And it has expanded my awareness. It has offered me an opportunity to self-prove and understand what independence of being is and how I am that. In the gift of awareness, what could be a better gift to give somebody than some kind of impetus towards waking up to who you really are? I mean, there's no greater gift.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
I know that.
On the road to questioning, yes?
What?
All of those experiences and misbeliefs and sorrow and unhappiness, it all started you on the path to profound, deep questioning.
Right.
Right. I'm going to play Child Donna. I'm going to role play you. I won't get the voice right, but anyway, so Auntie Donna, why is it my fault, or is it my fault that Dad left?
No. Never been.
Explain to me how it's not my fault.
Because he was a grown man and he made his own choices.
Say again?
He was a grown man and made his own choices.
Did it have anything to do with me?
I don't know. Never had the discussion with him. Wouldn't think so, but I don't know for sure. And I can't answer that. Only he can.
But you can't say for sure it did have something to do with you, yes? With me, I mean, Child Donna.
My logical mind said, if he loved you, why would he go? And that is like, without being able to articulate the awareness at that age, to be able to perspective shift and look at it from the abstract. It was there and it was itching at me, but I couldn't get to it. I couldn't articulate it enough so that it brought comfort.
Could people do things that they might love you, but they have other reasons for doing it? Could they be leaving because they loved you?
I mean, am I answering as the kid or am I answering now?
You're answering from Donna now to the kid, to explain to the kid. You're trying to give your kid self different reasons, different perspectives for them to make peace with the fact that the father left. Oh, he left me because he loved me.
Yeah, I've done all this. I've done this, what you're doing. Mm-hmm. It's the association of transitioning from world Donna. Remember we were talking 1, 2, 3?
Uh-huh.
it's that fully jumping off the cliff transition and some kind of association I have with death transition, and they're totally different things, but I've tied them. They're all, the wires are crossed. They're muddled together for some reason, and I need to unsort them.
Right. So I'm going through a process here to unmuddle those wires. And first of all, to give your child self some alternative perspectives to think on. So that
Leave. I took over your call.
Oh, we're just hanging out. It's all good.
She left.
We didn't take over nothing. No. I think Beena's probably gone to sleep already. Beena, are you still here? Yeah, she might have just gone to sleep because she doesn't want to disrupt the conversation, so she'll just go when she because it's time. So no disruption, Donna. Okay, so what I'm really looking to do is to provide a child, Donna, with alternative understandings and alternative perspectives so that it's not so certain about its perceptions. I want to break that certainty that it has, that the father left, but it has to be. The only reason could be that he left me, and well, why would he leave me if he doesn't love me? It has to be that he doesn't love me, and therefore I have to be unhappy. Right? It's a have to be logic. Let's find a different thing. You say he left you because he loved you. Why did he leave? Because he loved you? Well, because he was fighting with your mom and he didn't want to have anger and badness, or he was in trouble with the law and he didn't want to bring the law onto you, or God knows what all. There's 101 reasons why parents leave for the goodness of the children, right? They don't want the child to get in trouble. They want the child to get corrupted. They don't want their bad habits to rub off on the child. Who the hell knows? There's 101 reasons, right? Furthermore, just if he did love you, right, and left, that doesn't mean you have to be unhappy. Who knows what these reasons are? You have to assume there's a good reason, right? If he's a good person. If he's not a good person, well, you don't particularly want to be loved by a good person, so then it doesn't matter. Yes? Donna? I'm just giving a few examples. Furthermore,
Right.
Is your happiness dependent on somebody loving you or not?
No.
There you go. Profound lesson. So what does it matter? Okay, he loved you and he left. So what? You find your own happiness. This is the big lessons from the universe to say if you're dependent on being loved, on your happiness through being loved by somebody else, that's a sorry state of affairs. Learn this lesson early and learn it now so that for the rest of your life, you don't have this issue going on where you think that you have to be loved by somebody else in order to be happy. It doesn't work, and it doesn't even work in relationships. When people love each other and they think their happiness comes from the love of others. It doesn't. Your happiness comes from your own love, and then you can share that with another, and they share theirs with you.
Right.
So you see the
Right.
logic.
Right.
I'm explaining it to your child.
I know, and my inner child's getting impatient.
Oh, interesting, Donna. Very interesting. So your inner child gets it. She's saying, Donna, I'm the one who gets it. It's you that's not getting it.
Probably. No, I get it. It is, it's,
It's what?
I don't know.
Say again, Donna.
It's like, what you're talking about. That healing that, it's not even healing that, but just working your way through all that you're going to do, I've done. And my inner child and I have had many conversations, and we've used a variety of modalities to do that. And I've gotten to a point where I can even look at it and say, what if my dad was just, he's just an angel, and he literally had a level of consciousness and he was angelic, and was helping me to wake up. And that gift he gave me was the ultimate love. So yes, he left, but look, look what that gift is. That in this moment feels like something feasible and palatable and makes the most sense to me than the abandonment and the rejection. And so let's start there. And it has something to do with that kind of awareness when you can honestly say your dad was an angel and all these people are angels and they're just, you know, in a mode of literally giving you the most divine gift that they can and helping you remember who you really are and to wake up. So you're waking up and you're seeing it from that perspective and you're ready to transition to a new way of being. What is it still that is that one string that when certain situations come up, the process that Beena was talking about and that assignment to the feeling is still there in this one scenario? What is it? What is that anchor that's still there? Because it's not typical. It's not the usual. It's not, okay, let's talk to inner child. I don't mean to say I know and I've already been there, but I have and I do. And I look at it from a perspective of what my dad gave me was truly a gift. What my brother gave me was a gift. What other people, what you, what Beena, what Sue, everybody is just angelic to me and a gift. And the things that I'm transitioning into are gently guided by all of you. Every day I learn from everyone, from Mason, doesn't matter an age, it could be a child, it can be my dog. Everybody's just an angelic gift to me. And this transition into that knowing and that awareness somehow, when Josala was talking about let it go, you're so close. That's exactly it, right? Just let it go. Let what go? What is that string that needs to be cut? Hello? Am I just rambling on to myself? Hello? I guess I'm just rambling. Riley, I'm just talking to you. What's the answer? You can't tell me either, otherwise it'll be programming. I gotta figure it out myself. Well, that sucks. Oh, I said sucks. Well, it does. Ugh, transitions.
Donna, can you hear me?
No, I couldn't hear you. I was
Oh,
just rambling on to myself.
no, you weren't. No, you weren't. Hang on. I got a call while you were talking, and it's muted Zoom on the phone, so it's caused a whole mess. I'm struggling to hear you struggling to hear me, but I heard everything you said. But give me one moment. I've got somebody outside who wants to come and look at the RV. So just hang in there, okay? Donna?
Sure. Yes, sure.
Okay, okay,
Absolutely.
okay. Yes, very good. Let me get my mask as well.
Alright.
Yeah, you'll have to look past all the things that I'm living here, so just see past it. But
Okay.
yeah, come in.
What is the what is this?
This is the fridge.
The
Look
fridge.
inside if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, open it. Yeah.
Okay. This is the fridge.
Yeah, the
Okay.
fridge. The fridge.
Okay. What year is this?
This is 1990.
1990.
1990. Yeah.
1990.
Yeah. What's nice is the engine is good.
Okay.
It's got 50 something miles, 50,000 something miles. More light on you.
How many miles on it?
Like 52 or 55, something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thousand. So not a lot. The person I bought from was just the one owner.
You use the bathroom?
Yeah.
Or you take a shower somewhere?
Yeah. But you're right here. I use the shower over here because I don't have the gas connected for it.
Oh, okay.
But
So you use the shower of the property?
Yeah. But it works. Everything works. The
Yeah.
only two things that need service is the generator.
Okay.
It starts, but the fuel filter needs to be changed.
The generator.
The generator. Yeah, you can crank it. It turns, but it doesn't fire
Okay.
because the fuel filter needs replacing. It's been
Okay.
used for a long time.
Yeah, but you connect it here. You got water and everything.
Yes. Yeah. Open. Water.
You got
Everything.
water and power and
Right.
everything.
And power, air conditioner. It's working. So the only two things that right now not working
Okay.
is the generator,
Okay.
which like I say cranks but doesn't fire, and the heater,
The heat. Okay.
the gas heater. I just use the electricity. I don't use the gas, but it's disconnected right now because it needs to be serviced.
Oh. Okay.
So the guy I want to call to come, I never can get him. He's always busy. So
So what kind of you cook or you don't cook?
yes, I cook, but I use all the electrical stuff. But the stove works, no
So
problem.
this electrical,
No, it's gas.
It's
It's
gas.
gas. Yeah.
but you can use this one.
Well, I use the electrical because I plugged into the electrical right now. Yeah. So I just use that. But mainly I use this. Yeah, I don't even use that. I just cook with this. This is my cooking.
Yeah.
So I'm very easy.
So how much is the rent here?
The rent here is, let's see, depending on the site.
Okay, on this side.
This site is 395,
Okay.
and then you pay electricity on top of that.
Oh, you pay electricity.
You pay electricity
Whatever
also.
comes in your bill.
My bill came last month to like, was it 135, 135?
How much?
135 was a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah, they charge a little extra for the electricity to make up for the low rental on the site.
Oh, okay. So you pay
Yeah.
like around $500.
Yeah, a little more than 500 for the total. They're like 550. Thank you.
Okay. And this because of the size. If you got it bigger, you gotta pay
I
more.
know they have it only two prices, and the other the other price is only maybe $20 cheaper, and that just depends on the plug outside. If it's 50 amp, 30 amp. So when I came, they didn't have a 30 amp. I don't need 50 amp, but okay. So it's only $20 or $30 difference. So don't
Okay. And how much you asking for?
this one 9,800.
9,800.
It's got the blue book value is 10,800. The only reason I ask less is for the generator and the heater, and then the windshield is cracked in the front.
Okay. Not a best offer. You put it firm.
Yeah, I can a little bit depending. I'll work with you
Like
if
if
you
I
need
bring
to.
like eight grams, you will take it.
Okay, I'll tell you what I will take. I'll take 8,300.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I have a very good friend. I'm on Zoom with them every day. And she got connection, I don't know, she sees things. She told me this is going to be the price.
Oh, okay.
Make me chill, make me, I don't know, it makes no sense to me.
In the stars, pretty good.
Yes. You want to start now?
Okay, can
Sure.
you start it?
Sure. Hang on one
Yo
second.
raro lo menos.
Yeah, it's going to take me a little
Son
while
igual
to
lo menos.
start it, but it's okay.
8,000 bolas. No, porque la todavía se le dieron 4,000, pero no tenía motor. ¿Sí? Está mejor esa que la tuya. Ya se va. Where you from? Where you come from?
My accent is from South Africa.
Yeah, I can hear that.
I've been here a long time. So I've been here a long
Yeah,
time.
South Africa. Okay.
South Africa, yeah. So when I got this, I did some work. I put new starter in, and you know, did a lot of things to it. I put a lot of money into it.
So where are you gonna move as soon as you leave?
I don't know. I'll see then.
Oh.
I love a lot of adventure in my life. You know, I have a lot of fun. So.
Pero paga como 500 bolas por estar aquí. Sí, pero yo si estuviera solo con mi vieja no de hecho íbamos a agarrar uno de estos.
Oh, I need to get the keys. Hey Donna, I'll get back to you in a little bit, okay? I mean, unless you want to hang in there. Let me just get by you.
Okay. Íbamos a agarrar uno de estos pero un poquito más grande. Sí, pero la pensamos porque esto iba a andar después en el otro de esto.
I don't want to ignore you, Donna.
Hasta 1,000 bolas que porque yo quería. Pero está un poquito más grande que esto.
Okay, so you know carburetor engines, yes?
Huh?
You know a carburetor engine?
No.
You never had carburetor engine?
No.
Oh, okay.
What is that mean?
A carburetor is not fuel injected.
Oh, this is fuel injected?
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's got the carburetor.
Oh, carburetor. Yeah, carburetor.
You know what it is? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
So you know you have to pump it.
What brand is this?
It's a Chevy.
Chevy. Okay, Chevrolet.
Yeah, Chevrolet. It's good. The engine is very nice. I like it a lot. So yeah. So to start, you know, put on and then off again. You know, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then 6 or 7 times. Oh, it's I need to charge the battery. I love the engine. It's very good. So this one will take a little while. If I go off, it's gonna die. You just need to warm up. Always, every time, long time it's standing.
Yeah, I used to buy a lot of carburetors.
So, you know this, you know.
I know. So, I'm from the old school, you know.
Say again?
Starting with the second age. How old are you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I was born in 62.
Oh, you born in 62? I born in 66.
Wow, okay.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
yeah. Hey, I haven't started in 3 months.
Okay.
So it's very nice. I like it. I do think it needs to be adjusted a little bit on the idling.
Okay.
Because sometimes especially when it's new to start, you don't always idle right. But I don't know so much about engines, only a little bit.
Okay. Let me take another quick look.
Please, look at everything. You're more than welcome. No problem. Yeah. And you see, that's what I like. Sorry, my name is Sil, by the way. Sil? No, with the Y, like in yeah, SYL. But yeah, like in silver. Yeah, just to block it off, you know. Yeah. And you see little things like this. You see the light work? You know what I mean? When you open the door, the light work. When you close, it goes off. Yeah. All those little things are working. Like this micro, it come with it. You know, the built-in is working. I use my own one, but you know. Yeah. And this other thing, which is very nice. You see? It's all clean.
Yeah.
Okay, a little bit meatless, but what I mean is not scratched or worn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So very little wear and tear.
Pásale para que lo veas en la cama. Pásale.
Yeah, like this a little bit. You know what I mean? It was very little used. The guy I got from,
Yeah.
he's a little guy, was from Cambodia. Him and his wife go once a year for camping.
Okay.
And
So
they
you're allowed
take
to take a shower?
Yes.
How many people allowed to live in this?
I think as many as you want, but you pay a little bit extra for the people. But you know, this make into a bed. You know this, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So to sleep is 2 and then 4.
yeah.
I mean, if you make, I don't know how else you're going to sleep, but you can. There's certainly no problem for them if you want to pay 4, but I think they're going to charge you, I don't remember how much extra for 4 people or per person. You know,
No, for 3 people, come on.
for 3. Hold on.
Pues va a ver cuánto cobra por
Hold
cada
on.
gente, pues.
I have a gift for you.
Okay.
You can look through all of this. Let's see. You know, they give me this with it, yeah. Maybe it's here somewhere. Let's see. You know, all the rules and everything. Uh, ah, ah. So it's extra $50 for each monthly per month for each person.
Okay.
So if it's gonna be 3 people staying, it's gonna be extra 100.
Oh, okay.
So 550,
600.
6, 7 total
700.
for 3 people. No, is that right? No,
No,
no, no, no, no, no.
600.
650.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. With the electricity, 650. If you're gonna pay this high in the electricity, I recommend use the gas. You know, I didn't set up for the gas, but much cheaper.
When you can make your grill, I mean your cookout outside.
Yes, 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 yeah. Yeah, no problem. So, okay.
Can you show me the
Yeah, yeah. I'll show you everything now. I want to give you this. I want to give you this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? I don't need it.
All right.
This one. I don't know. This all is tourist things. I don't know if you need this. You know. Okay, I'll give you everything.
Okay.
Yeah. What they give me, they give
Yeah.
us for everything. All right, let me show you everything.
That's all
Let
right.
me show you everything. Very good. Okay, so let's start in this one here. This is the heater that needs to be serviced.
Okay.
You see, I was busy and I'm waiting for the guy. I have all the parts here, everything still to do, but I can't get hold of him. He's too busy.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I have everything off here. still there, Magical Donna? I hope so. No, Donna. No, Donna. Let me get out of here. The associations, yeah, being aware of the associations. You know, as a child, you made profound associations that, of course, now you see are just inaccurate, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of things that happened over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just my dad leaving. It literally was
Yeah. Yeah.
dad and then my brother, blah, 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 blah.
And the
That's
dog
a
and
lot
everybody.
of,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's a lot of embedding,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
associations, and if they're not serving you well,
Yeah.
you really gotta, I don't know, I feel like the deeper they're embedded, maybe the more you kind of have to dig to get to them. At least that's what it feels like sometimes with me.
I'm listening, Donna. I'm just making tomatoes and cream.
No, that's okay. I have to get ready to. I feel bad. I know.
Why do you feel bad?
Because I interrupted you and Beena, and I didn't want it to be
But
all
but but,
about
but
me.
that
It was a
please
we.
please don't think it that way. We just chatting. This is what we do every day. Every day at some point, okay, you know, sometimes we just sit there mindlessly. I was very happy that you came at that moment. It was just the most perfect moment to come because I wanted to share it with you. You know, you're a we, Donna. You're a we. You're part of us. We don't think of you as external. You're part of us, Donna. So, you know, you came at the perfect time. And, you know, I wish you'd come earlier even. But that you got to share this and you got to hear it. It's fabulous, Donna. It's too magically fabulous. Very, very cool. And then Beena got to reiterate it. And because, you know, she was busy making a post on it. So it just was all magical. There's no interrupting us, Donna. No interrupting us. Never, 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 never. Please don't think that. No, no, no.
It is amazing how things, between conversations, because that's what it was all about, was what Beena was talking about. And,
Exactly.
sometimes when I get emotional and tears, she leaves, and I'm hopeful that she doesn't take on the emotions of others, that connection is being more manageable for her. It
Oh,
could be a
it is.
coincidence,
It is.
but
It is. It is. It
what?
is more manageable, and it is a coincidence today. I mean, you
Okay,
came
that's
right
good.
at bedtime. We were already past bedtime. So,
Ah,
yeah,
okay, that's good.
yeah,
All right. Well, I'm gonna take my dog out so he'll quit jumping on me and knocking me over because he's so big. I bet this dog weighs, I'm guessing 90s, probably
Wow,
gonna hit 100 before he's done
wow, wow.
growing. He's a big boy.
It's almost as heavy as you, or heavier maybe. I don't know.
Almost as big as me. Yeah.
What's
Yep,
that?
pretty much. I said almost as big as me.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
doing tomorrow at 9,
Mm-hmm.
right, with Jessica? Okay.
Correct, correct. I mean, you can come earlier, of course, and continue chatting
Yeah.
the whole weekend. You know.
I'm
Yeah.
going to take the dog out. That's always good. I
Okay.
like being outdoors after I have a
Yeah.
aha moment.
Yeah.
I get outside into nature and just sort of let it
Yeah. Yeah.
absorb and sink in.
Mm.
Well, good luck with. I hope it works out with the sale.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Promising.
Yeah. Oh, very much. Oh, the only thing is, you know, they have to approve them at the office to rent the space.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Donna, just to recap, for me, this entire issue is one of a deeply emphasized association, right? And,
Right.
and those are deep, deep beliefs. So you have to just keep going into them and kind of work through them and say, yes, but, right? Take this belief and go, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. And that's a huge deal. You know, you kind of almost have to have this conversation with that self of then, which is, you know, it's childish psychology. And, you know, you have to argue it like you do with a child. You know, they can get stubborn,
Right.
and then and they say, oh, okay, and then oh okay, but you got to explore all those yes buts, and just realize that this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a deep, deep misassociation of misbelief, right? You
Yeah.
know, that transition
Right.
loss and all that abandonment, all that association.
Right. And I do that, and I knew that. Didn't know it was misassociated. I just
Yeah.
couldn't
Exactly.
and then
Exactly.
talking it through,
Mm.
and then I hung up the phone, and it was just like crystal
Right.
clear. Oh, that's what it is.
Right. Right. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm putting the phone to my, I don't know, just loving the phone here, putting it to my heart, my head. Yeah. The point I want to make is
Right.
that here's where the hearing comes in. The profound understanding of you understanding capital H hearing and realizing that when it comes to the one that you are hearing, you need to be there for them, be there for them, be there for them until the, and then what, and then what, and then what. And then there's a long awkward pause and a silence. And you say, yes, what's next? And they're like, that was it. And you say, oh, what's next? Yeah, oh yes, and then more comes. And you keep doing this, and you're a pain in the butt until they really, really, at the end, there's a resolution. And then you can say, there it is. That's when you can stop saying, and then what? Now, my point is you need to do this with yourself because you tend to stop it off and cut off the spigot before we even get to the awkward silence part. You kind of stop it in mid chat, and you need to go all the way to the end. It needs to come out on it so that you can hear it and get perspective on it. Don't cut it off before the end. So make space to hear yourself. And now you've got to be the one sharing as well, not just listening to yourself, but the sharer. So you have an obligation as the client to yourself to continue talking, to continue going through it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'm listening, Donna. I'm listening. I'm listening. To me, truly, I can't tell you what a joy it is. It's a weird thing. I know. It doesn't make any sense. I agree, Donna. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a joy. Right?
A lot of things don't make sense, but it's a joy.
Oh, okay.
It just is what it is.
Exactly. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's just, rightness, appropriateness, love, goodness. How can it not be a joy when you love people? It just has to be. It just has to be. Yeah?
Right. Right.
You're going to make me all emotional in a moment. Yeah. Brilliant.
Sorry.
Brilliant.
I'll connect with you tomorrow.
Yes, yes. Bye-bye, Donna. Bye-bye, bye-bye,
Bye.
bye-bye. Love you, Donna. Love you. Bye-bye. Oh, now I got to get my phone off. Oh, Donna hung up. All right, very good.
Stakes by Eric Flint and Charles E. Gannon. Narrated by George Goodell and directed by Abigail McHugh. Part 1. May 1635. The line of the horizon, thin and fine. Chapter 1. Odo, the young German operating the radio, shook his head. I'm sorry, Ambassador Nichols, but the signal has been lost. Sharon Nichols, displaced ambassador to Rome for the United States of Europe, edged so far forward that her ample figure began pushing into Odo's incongruously wiry back. Did Colonel North confirm that he was moving to the extraction point as quickly as possible? Odo shook his head again. No, Ambassador. The frequency started becoming garbled before I could send those instructions. I shall try to raise Colonel North again. As the young miller's son from Rudolstadt set about this task, Sharon's husband and de facto chief of intelligence and security, Ruiz Sanchez de Cazador y Ortiz, placed a hand on her arm. My love, there's no cause for alarm. Sharon turned toward him, eyes bright, the smooth curves of her very dark face creased by lines of worry. We've lost contact with Colonel North. We're supposed to meet our team when it comes out of Chiavenna. A team that just happens to include my father, who promised us that he'd signal us by 1 p.m. today with a mission update. That update is already 2 hours late. So until I know that my father and my friends are with Colonel North's forces and heading back to Granville, every second of uncertainty is cause for alarm. She turned back to watch Otto ply the various tricks of his arcane trade. Rui raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. In the last few weeks during which he and Sharon had married, fled Rome, and secreted themselves in this obscurity near Padua, Rui had learned that although his new wife had a fiery temperament, both in debate and in bed, she was not given to being tested. She was a large person in every regard: physiognomy, sympathy, forgiveness, and passion. There was nothing narrow about it. So whereas her rebuff of Rui's reassurance might have seemed snappish to others, he knew better. He not only had intimate knowledge of Sharon, but insight accrued through 3 prior marriages and almost 6 decades of living. No, Sharon Nichols was not date-tested. She was racked by anxiety, exacerbated by the fact that she herself had agreed to send her father and friends into harm's way. Odo was shaking his head again. Still no response, Dr. Nichols, and the noise around that frequency is not promising. Did Colonel North say where he and his Hibernians were located? They weren't able to report their position, Ambassador. We spent most of our clear airtime trying to establish a mutually secure code. What? Why? Odo seemed to shrivel before Sharon's growing tone and looming torso. Rui intervened. Dearest, the code-checking protocols require absolute precision. If there are any missed symbols, the authentication must be deemed suspect, so with a bad signal, it can take many minutes to confirm a secure transmission. Sharon collected herself. Odo, when was the last time we had a precise location for Colonel North's unit? 2 days ago, Ambassador Nichols, he and his men had just arrived in Silvaplana, having come down out of the Alps by way of the Julia Pass. Then, if they've been making steady westward progress, they should be near the extraction zone now, correct? Rui saved the young radio man from his wife's desperate